Joining us right now is Delaware Democrat Senator Chris Coons. And Senator, I can't believe we're even talking about this, being back at potentially being a shutdown after the longest shutdown in history that, I don't know, led to much of anything or anything other than pain and frustration on the average American's part. What's going on?
The last shutdown was about the Affordable Care Act and health care costs. This one is about reining in ICE and CBP. And if I can put it as simply as possible, what I'm asking for, what Democrats are asking for, is that these federal agents follow the same rules that state and local law enforcement follow every day.
If you shut down the government over this, if you shut down, not the government, but if you shut down, let's say, we go back to what happens with TSA and airports and people who get caught up in this, is that the way to do this?
It is literally the only leverage we have in the minority, and bluntly, I think our ask is very reasonable. I met with law enforcement leaders from Delaware this week to say, help me. Do you think this is something we should deliver on?
Senator, you're a reasonable person, but if that happens and things get shut down again, from the perspective of average Americans or business people who are trying to get around,
I understand why they'd be frustrated.
It almost sounded like
you can't get to a funeral, if you can't get to a wedding, if you can't go on a plane.
But it sounded like you were justifying the last shutdown. Like in hindsight, you haven't learned a lesson that you're saying, well, okay, we got health care problems. These subsidies, I don't know whether you put the whole issue of rising health care costs and what you were trying to accomplish last time, but that wasn't the right. In hindsight, don't you look back and say, I wish Democrats had not done that?
A core challenge for us is that we are in the minority in both the House and the Senate.
That happens all the time.
And we're not able to make change.
When the Republicans are in the minority, they are in the minority.
They have also used shutdowns to
They have, but to the great.
I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now.
You're mortified by it.
I have no enthusiasm for a shutdown. But to be clear,
you guys are so skilled.
The killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, I've gotten more calls from Delawareans in the last 2 weeks about this than anything in years. They want to see action.
Have we not started to see the administration and the president recognize that they went too far with what President Trump has already done?
A little bit.
He's
withdrawn some officers. They're talking about maybe body cams.
Wearing body cams, I think, is a great idea.
Of course. But this is what every agency does.
Can't you reach that with that? Aren't they feeling that same pressure that you are getting from your constituents?
So they're going to play for time and hope that the subject changes. We've put forward, I think the risk was that we would overreact.
That's where I'm coming at. Whoever
we put on the table
on this may lose.
Right. Body cameras on, masks off, name ID badge, which every other police department in the country does, and then simple rules of engagement for use of force and for accountability. That's the sort of thing we ought to be able to agree on.
They wouldn't need masks if the left and Democrats hadn't ginned up the opposition to the point where people think it's okay to break the law by disrupting federal law enforcement officials, obstructing, disrupting, kicking out, whatever you want to talk. It's all against the law.
Why does that require masks?
Because they're getting doxxed.
Okay. Right? There should be severe consequences for attacking a police officer or doxing. Like, I hear you. Police officers need to be safe as they conduct their important job of protecting us and through law and order. But, you know, there's fewer than 1,000 police officers in Minneapolis. To deploy 4 times that overwhelmed Minneapolis. Like, let's be clear. Roving patrol.
A lot of these
masked guys in non-standard uniforms.
These are not protests.
They're pulling back the
These are riots.
They have to.
These are riots. These aren't just protests. These aren't exercising your First Amendment rights. These are disrupting federal law enforcement officials trying to do their job.
If you can't stand there and blow a whistle and use a camera when police are doing a police action, then we don't have a First Amendment.
No, that's fine.
They are claiming that they should be able to enter your home without a judicial warrant, with only an administrative warrant. Some of my most conservative colleagues agree that you ought to have a judicial warrant. That's a basic one.
Can you go back to explain to me why the Biden administration let in 20 million illegal immigrants and had a completely open southern border that put us in this position in the first place? Why?
I disagree that they let in 20 million. I think they're double counting quite a few people. Let's say it was millions. Our biggest policy failure was a open border, which means respecting treaties that we signed decades ago about letting people claim asylum in this country. Near the end of the administration, James Lankford, Kyrsten Sinema negotiated a deal that is the policy we should now be following. I was in a bipartisan meeting this week to talk about how do we strike the right balance where we actually secure the border, where enforcement against criminal aliens happens in a safe and secure way that respects a democracy, doing law enforcement in a democracy, and where we as a country are humane. We're not shocked by what we see on TV.
Have you figured out why? Because there are conspiracy theories why you'd let in 10 million undocumented Democrats.
They're not Democrats.
I'm kidding. I mean, I'm saying that that's the whole, and you don't want no ID voting. At the same time, you let in all these illegal.
I have to show an ID every time I vote in Delaware. Look.
But you see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying. Democrats will never lose again if they're left to their own devices.
True, as you well know.
Look,
God help us.
At the end of the day, Trump ran on three things: lower your costs, close the border, release the Epstein files. He's closed the border. Costs are not coming down in a significant way, and we need to do more to deliver on that. And the Epstein files have been an abject disaster.
Okay, again, here's another. So, inflation means how much things rise. It's not prices going down, that's deflation.
It's also wages coming up.
Well, okay, and that's happening. But you're not looking for deflation right now. If it goes up 21.5% during the Biden years, and it goes up another 3%, which is too high under Trump, the 21.5% is still, you own that.
What matters is affordability, right? So housing affordability has been impacted by the tariffs Trump has put on wallboard from Mexico and plywood from Canada. Groceries have been impacted by tariffs.
Okay, 21.5 to 3.
I was in Europe meeting with a lot of our core NATO allies after his Greenland gambit. And his tariffs and his chaotic tariff policy is dividing us from our closest allies at exactly the moment when China is the biggest challenge we face. He's focusing on Venezuela, on Cuba, on Iran, on Greenland, and he's not focusing on the thing that matters, which is getting closer to our allies who share our values, who are free market democracies, so that we've got the market power to actually get concessions and to constrain China's aggression.
The view from here, and probably from a lot of places in the United States, is that nothing can get done on a bipartisan basis in Congress. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I did not realize you said the president signed 5 of your bills into law in December. These were all bipartisan pieces of legislation?
Yes. These were mostly national security-related pieces of legislation that relate to Taiwan, that relate to our core adversaries, China, Russia, DPRK, and Iran coming closer, demanding a strategy out of the administration. One bill was with Pete Ricketts, one bill was with David McCormick, one was with Jim Risch about detained Americans and how we should respond when an American is detained. We are doing bipartisan work. In the Foreign Relations Committee, we voted out 12 bills just this week. It doesn't get a lot of coverage, but on economic policy and foreign policy, I've gotten bills signed into law this last year. There are folks working together. And frankly, on some level, when I say that at home, people say, boy, why doesn't anyone talk about that?
What I'm asking is that something that makes you think you can maybe get to a bipartisan issue without shutting down DHS funding?
We should. I think what we're asking for, which is that federal law enforcement follow the same rules as state and local law enforcement.
But do you get the sense that there is going to be an off-ramp between the two parties at this point?
I hope, because we need to deliver results. And to your point about FEMA and TSA and the Coast Guard, I don't want to shut down FEMA, TSA, and the Coast Guard.
It makes it look like the Democrats don't care about Homeland Security.
I care about Homeland Security and our country, but I also care about responding to these grotesque acts of overreach.
And do you feel like there is room at the table, movement at the table to do some of these things?
We'll find out this weekend because the leaders have begun talking. Both caucuses, House and Senate, Democrats have laid out what I think are perfectly reasonable demands that your average American goes, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But once again, you're using funding to get what policies that interest you, and it just is a bad precedent.
These aren't just policies that interest me. Joe, the idea that federal law enforcement
I know, but you're shutting down the government.
Rules.
You're shutting down the government.
I mean, it's the same rules that NYPD is following right there in Times Square right now.
When Republicans
do you see roving bands of NYPD?
Senator,
with masks and
you're putting up another red herring. You're shutting down the government because
how you do policing
you lost
in a
the
democracy.
election. You lost the election because you lost the election, which put you in the minority party. Doesn't give you the right to shut down the government to get what you want. Let me ask you this.
But it does mean I have to fight for the core values of our democracy, which includes supporting law enforcement that is accountable, that is transparent, but that doesn't murder American citizens in broad
When
daylight.
Republicans are in the minority, they have issues that they think that you disagree with. You don't want them shutting down the government to force it. If the Democrats take back the House, and it's unlikely, maybe, I don't know what the betting markets are now on the Senate. I haven't looked, but who knows? But
There's a path. It's possible, but we'll see what happens in the next 6
Will
months.
the Democrats nuke the filibuster, put 15 people on the Supreme Court, make Puerto Rico and Washington, make them states? Will all those things happen? No vote ID for, suddenly Democrats are federalists. I love it. They want the states to decide on no voting, and it's great to see them become federalists. Look, would all those things happen? Would you think Democrats would do that?
Something positive just happened, and I've talked about this in my caucus a lot. A lot of my family and friends say, when are Republicans going to stand up in the Senate to Trump? Trump demanded they end the filibuster. They didn't. Trump demanded that they end the blue slip for judges. Yeah. They didn't. Trump demanded huge cuts in medical research, NIH, CDC, huge cuts in housing, home, CDBG. They didn't. We just passed a bipartisan appropriations bill that rejected huge cuts to basic programs we care about.
There are Democrats in the House who are saying
same.
Chuck Schumer should get the hell out, in their words. Are they?
Look, at the end of the day, finding a middle path through which we can govern is one of our biggest challenges. And a lot of the redistricting happening in Texas and in other states means that you're squeezing out the last members of the House who are moderates. So we're going to have trouble finding a governing coalition in the center. I hope business will start speaking up and saying, we want rule of law, we want stability.
You would not vote to nuke the filibuster then?
I would not vote to nuke the filibuster to recognize Puerto Rico and you said Washington.
Would you do
it
to stack the Supreme Court? You wouldn't put them on the Supreme Court. You don't want to stack
I don't think we should expand the Supreme Court.
Okay. Senator Coons.
But that leaves open that you could nuke the filibuster for other reasons. Then.
It depends what else is going on, because we got 3 more years, and bluntly, what this president is doing has so reshaped our society and our place in the world. I am very,
filibuster will be gone next time you're not in power, though. Who knows when it is? Maybe it never happens.
Right now, it is
with your 20 million
protection.
With the 20 million that came in, maybe it never happened. Maybe you never lose power.
Even Becky's going like this.
All right, Senator Coons.
Because they're wrapping
you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Great to be
First-time viewer.
Squawk Box will be right back.
She does that all the time.